tonight.
Time for your weekly dose of pop culture
With Cassie and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Whoa, hello, and welcome to Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. I'm Kathy Walker.
I'm
Hello,
Kenny
we're
Walker.
live.
We're live.
We're live.
I'm live. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I
You,
said
you
I'm
got a little
Kenny
bit of a
Walker.
delay.
Okay,
Okay, maybe
I
that's
do.
just
I don't
my
know
headphones
why.
aren't loud. So I do hear you. All right. We are celebrating Halloween and all its spooky goodness here on the show. Uh, so welcome to everyone who is watching us, whether you're joining us on Facebook or whether you are joining us on YouTube. We say welcome and thanks so much for being here. It is our Halloween show, so we have all the scary good stuff coming your way for this show, and we also have a special guest.
Oh yeah, we
Uh,
do have a special. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get everything lined up and everything on my end, and
okay.
we do have a special guest. The scariest thing I've ever made in my life. My son, George.
Hello. Happy Halloween.
Is he there?
Whoa.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
So it is
No, this is
Halloween,
George.
and you guys got to hang out today. What'd you do?
Went trick or
The
treating, of
hokey pokey
course.
turned ourselves around because that's what it's all about. Yes. Went trick or treating. I wish I had a picture to show you, but we went trick or treating. I guess Olivia was with us, Mackenzie was with us, Jesse, George's wife, was with us. Mila was in full, and George dressed up as a cockroach,
Yes, I was. I was a cockroach.
and Milo was dressed as a roly bug, and
Ah,
George and Milo was dressed as a roly bug, and Jesse was dressed as an exterminator.
Yeah,
cool, cool,
I,
that
of
cool.
was pretty
course, was
great.
Mr. Maestro.
Oh, oh no, you didn't roll that one
Naturally.
out, did you?
Had to.
Oh,
Yeah, what?
that's scary.
I had to roll Mr.
That's
Maestro out, man.
scary.
You got to roll out
Well,
Mr. Maestro. What?
not
You don't know?
something that is not scary is that my nephew George here, your son, is a talented artist, and if you check out in the description, there is a link to
Thank
his
you.
website, George O'Connor Illustrations, and that's just one I pulled. So awesome!
Yeah, I get mixed up too.
You what?
Yeah, please check. No, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, but go ahead. But yeah, check out George's artwork. It's very good. And George is also the person who did the artwork for my album, was Throwing
Yes,
Paper. So
I
he's the
don't.
guy who
Guilty.
did that cover artwork also.
There you go, throwing paper.
Hey, there it
Hey,
is.
Yeah, George also did that. Just for that right there. There he is. Well,
so tonight's show
oh,
is the
uh,
if you want to join in and weigh on your favorite Halloween themed movies and television shows, you can give us a call at the number on the screen. And hopefully, if my phone isn't on Do Not Disturb, it'll come through and you can be on the show. Uh, or I might even put the link up. You can also catch us on YouTube. And of course, when you make comments in the live chat, we try to get them up. Uh, we will we will throw a link in the comments if you want to join the show. And again, our favorite listener and fan is on there. Hi, Dad.
Hey, Grandpa.
hey,
So
Dad.
he is part of the show. So there's
Hey,
the link
Dad.
in the stream if you want to
And
come in.
on my link, our mother's listening. And also, I
Okay.
just got a text message on YouTube. Our cousin Lisa is listening.
Aha, Lisa, how are you? So glad things worked
Lisa's
out
on
so well
YouTube,
for
and
you.
mommy's on, and yeah, and mommy's on what's it called? Mommy's on my link.
Okay,
Mm.
so
And
it's
Ed
on
Brown, if you're out there, we're waiting for you to link up with us.
Ed Brown. We're waiting for you to link in. So this week we are talking monster movies, and what's cool is on Disney
Ooh.
Plus they're showing a bunch of classics, which I didn't see on the list, but that's because they're comedies. But Hocus Pocus was not on the list, but
I put
okay.
Hocus Pocus on the list.
Oh, but yes. Oh, I'm sorry. It is on the list. It's under the
Of
kids.
course I did. Come on.
It's
I've
under the
never
kids.
seen
Okay.
I've never seen Hocus Pocus.
Oh, that's just sad.
I've never seen
Okay, we
Hocus
got to clear it.
Pocus.
Wait, hold on though. We got to clear this up now because I can't have everything we talk about. You go, I've never seen it. We'll assume that you haven't seen it. Is that fair?
I all right.
um, yeah,
I've seen some of the things on this list, and I
yeah.
forget
There's
that.
some. I mean,
I need help on the audience. I need some help on the audience because we need some. I have a couple of TV shows. We have a lot of movies, and and I was trying to get a list of TV shows with monsters in them, and I
X
wasn't
Files.
able
I
to
forgot to put that
finish my
on there.
list
I
because
thought that would be good.
X Files. Well, X Files never really had monsters on it, did it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a Monster of the Week
I've
Wait a
never
show.
watched
minute
X
now, because
Files.
X Files was like some episodes
I've
were
never
called
watched X
Monster
Files.
of the Week
So,
Right.
episodes. So yes, of course, X Files, Buffy,
Yeah.
Angel. I mean, because
Right.
some of the episodes were like Monster of the Week episodes. Okay,
Hmm.
that's all I got.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Well, I stand corrected. You know what? We're gonna start. We're gonna start from. Oh, our own mother cannot stay. Your grandmother cannot stay for the show because she wants to do Hallmark holiday movies instead.
Yeah, that's what my
Wow,
in-laws are doing here as well.
wow.
Watching Christmas
I'm
holiday
gonna take the
movies.
knife. I'm gonna take the knife. Yeah, I'm gonna take the knife out my back here. Thanks,
Ugh.
mom. Okay, so we're gonna start here. You know what? We're gonna start with the kids list of movies with monsters in them for the holiday for this Halloween season. And
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Oh shit! Don't say it 3 times.
And you gotta tell me something about Beetlejuice. Don't say it 2 times. I don't know. I know you say it 3 times for him to show, but I've never actually seen that whole movie.
This year was the first time I sat throughout the whole thing, but I've seen the whole movie, but in bits and pieces throughout the years. And this year was the first time I like finished it and all the way through.
Oh, really? What'd you think?
It was really, I mean, it's great. Michael Keaton is just such a great actor and so much fun. Like his performance in that is great, and it's like to me, it's like Tim Burton at his best. Um, so that is always a treat. Like there's Tim
You
Burton at
think
his
that
worst. Hmm.
what's Tim Burton at his worst? Because I'm gonna tell you what I think Tim Burton is. Tim Burton at his worst is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I disagree. I'll say Tim Burton at his worst is Alice in Wonderland.
Okay, I would agree probably with the Alice in Wonderland. I think at his
You think?
best
Okay, I never
was
seen it.
Big Fish.
I,
Okay. Yeah. Well, Big Fish, I would say, is the best of his movies, but I'd say for his whole spooky theme that he typically does, I
Yeah.
think Beetlejuice it like hits the mark in so many ways, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
so weird. And like even the premise, like trying to pitch that premise, is so strange. And I was watching some behind the scenes interviews with Michael Keaton after explaining like how he like couldn't understand it because Tim Burton's trying to pitch like, all right, you're a demon and these people move into the house and they're trying to get the people out because they're ghosts and they don't want people to live there. And he's just like, dude, I don't really understand it. So that I think that movie is like it came out awesome and the cast is so good.
Yeah,
well, it had
I
Gina
think it's a
Davis in it, so you
classic.
can't go wrong with Gina Davis.
No,
It's
Now,
Alec
let me
funny.
ask you
Baldwin.
a question. Let me ask you both a question. Because he did Beetlejuice, because Michael Keaton did Beetlejuice, he did so well in that character.
Mhm.
Do you think Michael Keaton could have either played Batman or the Joker?
Well, he
Yeah,
played Batman.
Like, could he? Yeah, he played Batman, but you think he also could have been cast as a Joker in that movie?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Would he
think
have
he could
made a
have did a
decent
good job
Joker?
as a Joker.
he would have been fine. Yeah,
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Stop the presses. Stop the presses. Guess who's on the line?
Michael Keaton.
Ed.
Oh no, not Michael
Ed is in
Keaton.
the house. Hello,
But my
Ed, and
buddy Ed is
welcome.
here. All right, Ed. Ed is in the house.
Ed
Happy
is in the
Halloween.
Ed,
house.
Ed, you've met George. George and Kathy. George and Kathy, you have both met Ed before because he was at the wedding.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Oh, wait. What happened? How did I disconnect?
We just
Okay.
lost him again. Is he back? I don't know. He's back.
No, Ed's back. Ed's back.
Can we get Ed? Can we hear you? Can you hear us? Okay. Talk so we can see we can hear you. Okay. Sound kind of muffled.
His audio has got to go up.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, your audio's got to go up.
Okay, it's a little better, but it's still you're still kind of far
Muffled.
away.
How's that?
There
Better?
you go.
There you go.
You're still muffled. Yeah, you're still muffled.
There you go.
There you go.
Good.
That's it. That's it right there.
All right, good.
That's it right there. So, okay, Ed, we're just talking about. We're just talking about Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice, Tim Burton, right?
Have you seen that
Yep.
one?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I was just asking him a question. Do you think in the Batman, Tim Burton Batman, would Michael Keaton also have made a good Joker?
Would Michael Keaton have made a good Joker? I think Michael Keaton would have made a great Joker.
Yeah.
I think he's very versatile in what he does. He was in a movie with, I can't think of her, Melanie Griffith, and it was Pacific Heights. No, not Pacific. Was it Pacific Heights where he played this villain kind of guy who became he went into
Yeah, I vaguely
he
remember
went
that
into
one. Yeah.
I think it was called Pacific Heights, and he went into he kind of he went into an apartment complex, and he kind of took over the apartment down in the basement, and he made it hell for the landlords, and he was amazing as that as that character, and I think that he could drive the Joker absolutely beyond heights. I mean, he would. I don't know if he would have been as good as Nicholson, but
Well, yeah. But I think he could have done it. He
you
could have
know,
held his own.
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
couldn't agree more.
Okay, the next kid movie we're going to talk. We're going to go to kid movies, then we're going to go to adult movies.
All
The
right,
next
good.
kid movie is Hocus Pocus. This is what I've never seen.
Classic.
I've never seen Hocus.
Oh my gosh, it's a classic. What are you
Yeah,
talking
that's
about?
classic.
Kenny, we are taking away your pop culture card. I mean, come on.
You're
I
going to
know.
also take one from Ed.
Okay.
Ed!
I'm with Kenny.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
know.
To be
I
fair,
know.
though, I hadn't really seen it until I
Oh.
think maybe
Yeah,
2 years ago. I think is when I finally
Yeah.
watched it.
It's been available, but I've never really had the urge to throw it on.
oh, you guys are really you're breaking my heart here.
Kathy, you seen Hocus Pocus? You seen Hocus
Oh, of
Pocus?
course. I saw Hocus Pocus
Okay.
in the theater. I mean, come on. Kathy and the Genie.
Okay.
Come
Next
on,
one
let's
is under
go
the.
Kathy and the
The
Genie.
next one is under the next one's under the kid. But I don't know if it should be on the kid list. The Craft.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
great
probably
film.
I think the Craft
messed
should
up
be
and
on
put
the
it there,
adult list.
but it should. But
The-
yeah, I messed up with that
Yeah,
one.
the Craft should be on the adult because I love the Craft. The Craft was a great movie.
Absolutely. If you look at my Facebook cover page,
I
you'll see
love
me
the
and
Craft.
Robin Tooney on the cover of it, and she was actually one of the stars of The Craft with Nev Campbell and that real
Which
crazy
one?
looking chick. I
Yeah,
can
which
never
one's
think of
she?
her name.
I know. Yeah.
What is her name?
Robin
I can't
Tooney.
think of it.
Is she the
Robin
one that
Tooney.
played
Yep.
the lead?
She was the
She-
lead, the main
The
girl
one
in
in
the
the middle,
beginning.
the one,
where
the
she
second
moves
one from
in.
the left.
She would
Uh,
be there's Nev Campbell, the crazy chick in the middle,
Feruza
Okay.
Balk.
to the left.
Fair
Feruza
Feruza
Balk, that's
Balk.
it. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Robin Tunney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a really fun movie.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
All four of
that
them were
one's really
hot.
good.
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that movie is like such a
I like the way
throwback of
all the
90s, like
things came true.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely. The next one we have is Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Ooh.
So I put this one on there just because I know it's one of those
Which I've never.
classics that I've never seen. But I thought one of you guys would have seen Bedknobs and Broomsticks. No,
I
am
guess
I?
you're taking
No,
another pop culture card from me
No,
because I haven't seen
no,
either.
but
I've never. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all gonna get our cards revoked because
All right,
I,
all right.
I
Yeah, that
did
was my
remember
bad.
seeing it, but it was so long ago I could not tell you, and that's why I'm like fade myself out of this because I don't do scary movies well. So chick
I'm
flicks, I'm
gonna.
all there, but you guys,
Can I go through? Can I go throw back one here? And we're gonna go way back. This is probably
okay.
in the early '60s. It's an old Rankin Bass classic. It's called Mad Monster Party, and it was animation done with the voices of Phyllis Diller, Boris Karloff, and some other
Really?
guys. And they recreated the Frankenstein monster, the Wolfman, the Hunchback. Well done, excellent animation. You know, kind of like in like Santa Claus is coming to town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Check it out, Mad Monster Party. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Man Master Party.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna check that one out. The next one we have is a classic that we've all had to have
That's it.
seen.
There
The
it
Great
is.
Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Oh, Mad Monster Party. There it is.
Yeah, that was it.
The
That's
Mad
exactly
Monster
it.
Party. And the next one we're gonna talk about is the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I
Mm.
love Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown because I like when they go door to door to go trick or treating, and everybody gets this great stuff, and Charlie Brown goes, "I got a rock." And that's all.
Yeah.
I got a rock. They go to the store.
Yeah.
I got a rock.
Yeah. That's, I mean, Charlie Brown holiday movies are always they're always bangers. Like, you know, whether
They're
it's
always
Christmas,
classic.
Thanksgiving,
They're always
Halloween,
good.
like
Yeah.
they just
Agreed.
stand up. Like they're good.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna save the next one. I'm gonna save. I'm going to this. I'm for number one, but the next one we're gonna talk about is Casper, the live action
Mm.
Casper movie, which I thought was great. I thought
I
that was
just
great.
rewatched
Christina,
it,
young
and
Christina
I
Ricci.
loved it.
It was good. It was good. I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
a huge Casper
Oh
guy.
yeah.
I like
It's
the
great.
original cartoon. But, you know,
Yeah.
we're
Oh
talking about classics. The cartoon was it for me as a
Yeah,
child growing up.
comic
But
books.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. For me as a kid, like for my generation, that live action movie came out like peak, like
okay.
early, like in the mid '90s. That was like they were selling Pizza Hut toys, and I had to have every one of all the ghosts. Like it was like right there at in the sweet spot. And having like one of the Monty Python guys in that movie is like I don't know, like that
Yeah.
movie is just still
Yeah.
You're a Monty
just really
Python
good.
fan? You
Yes,
like
I
Monty
am.
Python?
Yeah. He's a
Absolutely.
Monty Python fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
Life of Brian,
Yeah.
Monty Python and the
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
Grail.
Always
Oh my
look on
gosh.
the
Yeah,
bright side of life. Ooh, ooh,
Do-do-do-do.
ooh, ooh.
absolutely.
okay, Kenny, I know I'm not on the stream right now, but you know the rules. There's no singing.
The next movie coming in, what? No singing? I'm sorry, my bad. My bad. No
No,
singing.
no singing.
Bad. One is Goosebumps, the Goosebumps movie. Because we had the TV
So
show, and then they
yeah.
made a Goosebumps movie. I saw the Goosebumps movie once. It didn't last with me too. It didn't stay
So
with me too much.
this isn't the one that I'm so they did a remake not a remake, but they did a movie recently with Jack Black. And what I liked about this movie, and it's super silly, but it's Goosebumps. It's for kids anyway. But what I loved about it was I didn't know what story. Like when they announced it, I was like, oh, what book are they going to turn into a movie? And I was super curious. Is like, you know, they could do any of these. There's so many to choose from. And what they did was really smart. Was they took a bunch of the books and kind of put it into the movie, and then they had Jack Black play R.L. Stein, and that was like, oh, that's like it was just fun. Like so the books had
Yeah.
already existed in that world, and him as R.L. Stein was by writing these things by writing these stories, he was locking away the monsters. And the premise of the movie is he releases all the monsters that the author has written in the books, and it was just fun. I enjoyed it. It was just
Right.
cool nostalgia.
And the last one we're going to get to for the kid movies is Nightmare Before Christmas, which I know I saved it for last because I know this is one of George's favorites as a kid.
Yeah, it's still amazing. I mean, everyone knows that this is Halloween. Like I won't sing, but everyone knows the songs to that movie. And It's
What's
so
this?
catchy.
What's this?
Yeah, it's so catchy, and
We
I
want.
think well, the thing is for me though, I usually don't watch it around Halloween. I watch it in November because for me it's the perfect in between Christmas and Halloween. So I always watch it in the middle of November because I'm like, all right, I want a
I
little bit of both.
as much as you as much as you that movie as a kid, I've never seen it. I think I probably turned it on and walked out. I've
Mhm.
never actually seen that whole movie.
It's fantastic. The animations
That's
were
another one.
wonderful, and it
I have
wasn't
never.
directed by Tim Burton. A lot of people get that mixed up. Um,
Who was
because
it directed by?
I forget. I don't know the director's name, but it's produced by Tim Burton. It's like a Tim Burton picture, but he wasn't
Yeah,
the actual director.
it always would say, I think
Yeah,
Tim Burton
he
presents or
didn't
something
direct
like
it.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I always thought Tim Burton directed it.
No, but
But
the
we
thing is,
want to
I
say
think what's
hi.
good about that.
We want to say go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like that movie is also one of those films that stands the test of time. Like the fact that people still buy all the Jack Skellington merchandise and all these. It hasn't had a remake or a reboot in theater or nothing. You know what I mean? But there's still merchandise everywhere for Jack Skellington, and
Yeah, well,
it's just
there's some things you really can't give a reboot. You can't give a reboot to everything. Everything shouldn't have a
well, yeah,
reboot.
I
agreed.
agree with that.
But we want to say hi to Dawn, the singing nurse, from YouTube, who's listening in on us. How you doing, Dawn? Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining us. I know you said you're not a scary person, but I'm not a scary person. That's why I have Ed and George here.
Can I give a shout out too?
So I'm not really, huh?
Can I give a
Yes.
shout out too? I saw my buddy Steve on. He's also watching. And
Okay.
Steve on, this one's for you.
All right, Steve. Thank you for joining in on us. Um, now we're going to go on to the adult movies. Um, Frankenstein Monster. I don't know that one. I guess she's talking about my
You're
daughter
talking about the
Kenzie wrote that
classic
one on there. I think she's talking
The
1931
about
Boris
original.
Frankenstein.
Karloff. Oh, there's
Yeah, it's
nothing
the
better.
original.
Yeah, I guess she
Yeah,
is. I guess she is.
yeah.
I guess she is.
That's
Now,
that's Boris
would
Karloff.
you
Yeah.
put now let me ask you guys a question. Would you put the inspiration for the Joker um in this the man who never laughs or the man who that
For
solid movie where the
Frankenstein,
guy was
no.
the inspiration?
Are you talking about
No, no,
You're
no, no,
Lon
talking
Chaney
about
no. As
Sr.?
a
yeah. He's talking about something else.
no, 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 no. No, I'm talking about as a movie to put on this list. Would you include um that movie that was the inspiration for the Joker? I'm thinking the name of that movie.
There was a
The
movie called
man
Mr.
who always laughs, or
Sardonicus.
the man who
There was a movie called
no,
Mr.
not that one.
Sardonicus. Do you know what I'm
I
talking
gotta get
about?
the
Where
movie.
he's
We're gonna move on.
yeah.
No, no, I don't know what the movie is.
Yeah, you're
The
getting
next
sidetracked
one
on Joker. This is the
we're
second time
gonna
you
do.
brought up
You know
Joker.
what's
What's
up?
up?
He's a comic book guy.
I no, me
Oh
too. Me
no.
too.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to figure out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm surprised at, George? I'm surprised you didn't put on this list. The Mel Brooks movie,
Oh, Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein. Yeah,
Young
I mean, it should
Frankenstein.
go.
Young
I should have
Frankenstein.
put it on there. Young Frankenstein is amazing. I love that movie
Young
too.
Frankenstein. And what
Um,
I've never seen. I at one point I've never seen it, and you raved about it, and I watched. Not like a Mel Brooks movie. Young
it
Frankenstein just wasn't funny to me.
to me, it's more of a Gene Wilder movie. I would say.
Steve
Like
Johnson.
it's got
That's what?
Got Steve on.
yeah. Young Frankenstein isn't your
Steve on.
typical Mel Brooks movie because Gene Wilder was the engine behind that film. Like Mel Brooks asked to be involved in that and Gene Wilder said okay under the stipulation that he
Right.
wouldn't have a cameo, and that's why there's no Mel Brooks in that movie because it's like the one Mel Brooks
Yeah.
movie where Mel Brooks doesn't show up in it, and it's because Gene Wilder wanted to do it like he wanted to play it super straight and yet somehow still with the comedy, and yeah, it doesn't have the
I mean,
nostalgia
there were
factor for
parts
you.
of it
There's
that
some
was
movies that,
there were parts of it that was kind of yeah. There were parts of it that was kind of funny. That was kind of but overall, it's a widely reviewed movie. Mackenzie put this on the list. Annabelle. I've never heard of this movie. It's a
I
horror
haven't
movie, I
either.
guess. Apparently
Yeah,
about a doll.
yeah, that's what it is. I mean, that's the thing is there's a lot of I could have put a
And she also
thousand
put
possession movies on there, but I was like,
It's
how
it
many? Where do we call to draw the line?
right. It's part of the Conjuring series.
yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Oh, it is okay. And then she also put on there the Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Oh, excellent film.
Yeah.
Excellent choice.
Yeah. I would say while we're
I don't know if I've
there,
ever seen that
we
one.
could just talk about not Miramax Monsters. What's the name of the studio that
Universal
does
monsters. Universal. Yeah,
Monsters? Yeah, Universal Monsters, because those are the pioneers for everything
absolutely.
Halloween. Like all the
Yep.
imagery you see of Halloween
Yeah.
are from Universal monster
Yep.
movies.
Absolutely.
Well, would that include the Blob?
No,
Well,
no,
the Blob monster,
No.
that's
wouldn't it?
that's 80s B movie, like 70s B movie, like that was like a different wave of that's
Well,
a cult, that's
the
cult stuff
original
kind of.
Blob, though, we got to give it its props because it was filmed out in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, starring Steve
Hmm.
McQueen. And
Okay.
back in the
Yeah,
day, I mean, that was a hit. So I mean, I will give the
right.
Blob credit
Hmm.
to the respect where it's not Universal, but definitely, definitely top notch.
Hmm. Yeah, I enjoy the Blob.
Next,
Yep.
next on this we have Child's Play.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I put it on there because see if you see it, I had it under my you what?
That is just creepy. Just that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
That whole image.
yeah. I
Yeah.
put it on. That's why I put it on in ooh, that unibrow. I never
Oh.
seen him with the unibrow.
Yeah. 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 Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been
Yeah,
a
the
huge
girl looked
fan.
like
I
that
was I
back in the
was
day.
terrified of Chucky.
Chucky. Yep.
Yeah, I was terrified of Chucky when I was a kid, so I never really got too much into him. But I kind of like how they although I'm not a fan of the series, I like how they embrace the camp of it. I think they kind of went on and it turned into like a comedy by the third one or so. Like they
Right.
just they really embraced that, like it was stupid. It was stupid. And they knew it, and then they tried reversing it and going back to the horror roots.
Yeah.
And it's just one of
Yeah.
those franchises that isn't going to die. And I mean that could be said for it, but I've never been a huge fan.
Yeah, I am not a horror fan. I'm not a monster fan of movies. So this whole thing is new to me. The next one we have is something I probably should have seen because it's a classic and it's a cult classic. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah. Tobe
Yeah.
Hooper.
Have you guys seen
Mhm.
that?
Yes.
Because I've
Yeah.
never seen it. Have you guys seen it?
That's the
Yeah.
early '70s, and actually, the narration done at the beginning of the film is John Larroquette. If you remember him from Night Court,
Hmm.
he played
Oh yeah,
Danny. Yeah, yeah. That was one of his first gigs. He was actually a
Night
narrator
Court,
for that film.
Night Court, and more
Wow.
importantly,
Yeah.
Night Court, and more important,
Hmm.
because he was. Next one is
I'm sorry, I
Scream.
lost Kenny. Scream. Yeah. Yeah.
Scream. So okay,
No,
wait,
I'm
hold on.
here. Next one, Scream.
Scream is such an important film. Scream is one of the most important. I would argue it is one of the most important horror films in recent times because it brought back a wave of horror films that were not popular at the time. Like when Scream happened, it the horror genre had been played out and people were tired of it. And when they made
Right.
Scream, they made it intentionally. It's satirical. They know it's a horror movie. They have a whole scene in the movie where they say, it starts off first of all with Drew Barrymore. It's an iconic scene where she dies in the beginning, and it's just the opening scene is her in a house and him on the phone, like, I know where you're at. It's
Yeah.
it's so good. And then,
plays to all those stereotypes of like those horror movies too,
yeah,
and kind of
they
turns them on their ear,
Yeah.
especially with the character kind of telling you the play-by-play of what happens in a horror movie, like your comic relief character, and so that you know who's going to die next.
yeah.
And yeah, that franchise kind of revived the you know killer with a knife kind of crazy
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
movie. Oh yeah.
It was I love that his where he tells them, don't go upstairs. That's one of the key rules of a horror movie. Like he says it at the party while
Yeah.
these are all about to die. Don't go upstairs. Don't have sex. You got to be celibate because anybody that has sex in a horror movie, you die immediately. And they're all like, "Man, get out of here!" And sure enough, one by one, they all
Yeah.
die that
Yeah.
way.
Right.
It's so good. Yeah, and also Shaggy from
The
Scooby
next
Doo,
one we got.
Matthew Lillard. Sorry,
Oh, Matthew Lillard. Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
incredible on that. I'm bleeding, man. I'm feeling a
That's-
little woozy.
It really hurts, man. Yep.
The next one we have is Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, excellent choice. Wes Craven, who also did Scream.
Yes.
There's a lot of people. If you look at that original one, Johnny Depp was in it. Heather Langenkamp. Henry Linker was in Scream. Now I'm getting the two confused.
Yeah.
But Freddy Krueger is an icon as far as I'm concerned in the horror genre, and Robert Englund nailed the character.
I need to find that actor.
Yeah.
The actor who played Freddy Krueger, the same
You just said it,
actor
Robert
that
Englund.
was in
Hmm.
Robert Englund. Okay, yeah, because he was the same actor
Yeah.
that was pivotal in the TV series V.
Yep.
V I could put on this list as a TV show with monsters because the aliens came down and they disguised themselves as humans, but they really were like lizard. They ate humans, and that's the whole thing. So, the next one we have is Friday the 13th.
Again, another classic. Jason Voorhees. And if you watch Scream, you also know that in the first one, Jason Voorhees was not the killer in the film.
Yes.
But if you haven't
Yeah.
seen Scream, I won't, spoil that for you. But yeah,
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees again is just like Freddy in the sense that he spawned so many sequels, and he'll never die. There'll always be a sequel coming out with Jason Voorhees, and
Crystal Lake, Camp Crystal Lake, man. You don't want to go there.
yeah, based in New Jersey.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
The next one we have is Halloween, which kind of spawned the career of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, it did.
Hmm. Yeah, I was watching that
That's
today,
a-
actually.
Yeah, right. It was on earlier. That's a John
Yeah,
Carpenter film, and it created Michael Myers, again, another horror icon. He really started, I think, the slasher
Yes.
genre from that time,
Yeah.
because I think that was like 79, 80-ish. And then
Mhm.
after that, you got Jason Voorhees,
Yeah.
and Freddy Krueger came along, and then
Yeah.
Chucky from Child's Play. And, you've got so many more that have come along since then. So,
Hmm. Yeah. Would you now? Here's a question for you. Would you say that it's weird because I almost would put, and I think I would put Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre
oh,
in a
yeah.
different
Yeah.
category. But I wouldn't say
Yeah.
he's a slasher, almost because a lot of the slashers, whether it be Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees or whoever, they usually hunt down their victims and like prey. Like they go to these towns and they find these
Right.
people and they stalk them. Texas Chainsaw always seemed like people come to them and he's just like, oh, like you
Yeah.
showed up at my place, now I'll kill you. It felt different.
Yeah, I concur with that. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
That was it for slashers. I don't know if anybody
Next
has
we have
any ones
Lash.
I'm forgetting.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Above that we have. Next one we have is American Werewolf in London.
Hey,
Oh.
Kenny, you need to check your sound. You're coming through kind of echoey. But go ahead.
American Werewolf.
Werewolf in
Okay.
London. Now, see, I
I don't know if
thought
I've
that
ever
was
seen
more
that
a
one.
funny movie than a scary movie.
It's got its moments. It's
Yeah.
balanced pretty well, but I don't know the transformation to me, the transformation scene, which at the time was like a feat of special effects. Like it was like pretty amazing that when he transforms into the werewolf in his apartment and you see the skin ripping on his hands and stuff, like that was really at the time very like visceral for audiences because they had never seen that. It took a lot of work to figure out
Yeah.
because they had the you remember the old like Wolfman Universal movies things, it would just be like a couple pictures of him with less
Yeah.
makeup and they would do that transition. But this had actual like skin ripping off and showing fur. and that was like it was a big deal for the special
Right.
effects at the time.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah, I agree.
Because before the way they were doing it was like you said, they would show his face. Okay, less makeup, switch up,
yeah,
more makeup, and that's the way they did it. And they just did the camera trick, the camera thing where they would advance time on them. But
yeah.
this was like you actually, so um, Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, classic.
So good.
I never
Yeah,
seen it.
You might actually like this. This is Chris Hemsworth. It's Thor, so that might bring you in.
yeah, Thor,
Um,
Kenny.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's so Ed, do you want to go over the premise of this movie? Because I think that's like what makes this movie.
Well, the idea is that you've got these main characters that have to be basically killed, and it's all engineered by different countries in the world, where they come up with these characters, these monsters that have to go in and kill, Thor. I can't think of the characters' names right now.
Chris Hemsworth,
Uh,
yeah, but
Chris
yeah,
Hemsworth, and they've got they've got the junkie in there, who's actually steals the movie, in my opinion.
yeah,
And one by one, they send in these creatures to destroy or kill these people. And if they don't kill the people by the end of the film or by the allotted time, they have like say a night or a day to kill them, then the entire world is destroyed. And some of the creatures that they come up with are the merman,
the
which
Merman
is
was amazing.
dynamite,
Yeah,
dynamite, right?
so like I think because they did it kind of like American Idol, if I remember correctly, where countries voted in on what monsters should attack these, and the people that were in the cabin were like the stereotype of like the jock, the hot girl,
Yeah,
and but the beauty of this movie is that they don't tell you that in the beginning. They just
no, they never
show
do.
it starts like any regular horror movie, and you're like, what is
Yeah,
happening here? And then suddenly there's a force field, and the whole movie just goes whoop and flips, and
it's scary, it's funny, it's got every element in the film you could want.
yeah, it's more
Now
yeah, it's amazing.
that sounds like something. That sounds like something I might want to watch. That sounds interesting.
Very
It's
comic
super
book,
great.
Kenny.
Because
Yeah, very comic book.
it's almost like they're kind of like really. It's almost like they're being watched. They don't realize they're there for a purpose, and something else is totally going on, which you don't think is going on.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so next we have
Oh
it.
my word, Kenny. I kind of leave you to do the hosting and I'm listening through my headphones and all I hear is crunching. Are you
Thank you, Kathy.
seriously
Come on. Yeah.
kidding
Come
me?
on,
Thank you,
man.
While we're
Kathy.
talking about flesh
Thank you.
peeling off of people and
Cut his
horror
mic.
movies? Really?
Yeah. What's going on?
Really?
What?
It,
What do you mean? What?
we
You
get
keep
it
just yelling.
now.
What? Just stop eating.
KP.
All right.
What's next on the list?
I'll do it from here then. The next
Okay,
on the list
next we
is
have
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so spooky, so creepy. I love it.
Oh, what I like to
So
call it, forehead man.
it's fair. So there's the original It. Obviously, it's a Stephen King book. The original It was a miniseries on TV that can be watched together. It feels like a really long movie, but that was Tim Curry as the clown, and his clown was iconic. And it's it's a weird story to pull from. The original source material is very weird and super strange, and it's a time hopping story of kids that experience trauma and then them coming back to confront it as adults. And the original's widely regarded as an awesome thing, and the reboot I thought did pretty good. It did really good, and I thought that Alexander Skarsgård, who's in it, was just
Oh,
amazing with as the clown. Like because it's hard to follow up Tim Curry.
Oh yeah, Tim Curry was a
yeah,
classic
for
in
sure.
it.
Yeah, oh
Now,
yeah.
here's
Anything
my
Tim
question
Curry does.
to the panel because Stephen King is like the master of horror and of all his movies and adaptations. First of all, are there any books that are your favorite Stephen King books? And what would you say? Because again, it's Halloween. We're talking horror. How could you not talk Stephen King?
Right.
Of his books, is there any that is a favorite? And then I wanted to tell my little personal Stephen King story, but not like you, Kenny. Never met Stephen King, but
I will not say that I read the book, but as
mhm.
far as Stephen King films go, Shawshank Redemption,
Ah,
fantastic,
Shawshank.
Shawshank
fantastic
is
movie.
Stephen King.
Stephen King.
Yep,
Shawshank is Stephen King. So is Stand by Me.
yep.
Is
What?
from a Stephen King short
I've never
story.
seen. I've
Well,
never
that
But
kind
seen
of makes sense a
Shawshank
little bit, but
Redemption.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
know
I've
I,
never
uh,
seen. I've never seen. I've never
I had never
checked.
really read Stephen King because I wasn't a big horror fan, and I know when I was in middle school, Carrie was a book that everybody was reading, and the movie came out. And how could I
Which
knock my own
was
self off the
Carrie.
stream?
It
Okay,
was a good book. And a good
but I
movie.
never, I
Had that
never.
on the list, but she wasn't really a monster. She was just
I
horror.
well,
Um,
I'm still telling my Stephen King story.
There's a lag.
Oh, there is a lag. Okay. So, you know what? Since there's a lag, it's a little bit about me. But for Stephen King, I've decided I was going to read Stephen King. And even though I had never read him before, so I decided to read The Stand. So if you are a Stephen King fan, if you've read his books, you know that that's probably like the biggest, longest book I think he's ever written. Maybe not, but it was for me at the time. And I got so into this book that I was down to about the last 100 pages. I couldn't take it. I actually went to Blockbuster, and yes, I'm dating myself because there were Blockbusters back then, and watched the videos because I was so anxious to find out what happened at the end of this movie. But The Stand just blew me away. And also the other, oh, the one about the prisons, which was a book he released as like serial novels, like two or
The
three
Green Mile.
episodes of this book, The Green Mile. I
He
remember
wrote
reading that,
what?
and that was
You
my
guys are blowing
subway.
my mind.
Yeah,
What? You didn't know that The
you
Green
about
Mile was
Green
Stephen?
Mile?
yeah.
Oh, these youngsters. Anyway, but
No.
I remember reading that book on the subway and just like, excited and anticipating those coming out. So that's my Stephen King story. All right, now you can talk, Kenny, because you should be finished eating by now. I
I got
gave you
nothing
enough
to say
time.
because I've never seen Shawshank Redemption, and I've never read a
What?
Stephen King book.
How are you on a pop culture show with me? Oh Lord. Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Real quick though, I will say for my favorite Stephen King thing is actually not. I mean, it's not quite Stephen King, but his son is a comic book writer, and he goes by the name Joe Hill because he doesn't want to have the King last name and ride off of his father's coattails. So he for a long time no one knew that he was Stephen King's son, and he wrote this hit book that got turned into a Netflix series that just came out called Lock and Key, and that's very you could tell it's Stephen
Okay.
King's son because it's kids in a small town with paranormal weird shit happening, weird stuff happening. I'm sorry, and Lock and Key is great.
Yeah, I've been meaning to check that out on Netflix. I'm gonna have to check that one out, Lucky, because I haven't
It's
read the
good.
book yet, and I wanted to read the book first, but I'm just gonna check out the Netflix. And next we have is The Fly.
John Carpenter. No,
Now
not
we
John
talking the
Carpenter.
original.
I'm tripping.
Who is
Uh,
The Fly? Because Jeff Goldblum is The Fly.
Jeff Goldblum, of
yes.
course.
No, but the
Are we
director
talking
is
the Jeff Goldblum version
oh Cronenberg.
or the
Cronenberg. Why am I
original
Cronenberg.
blanking
Yeah,
on this?
version?
yep. Cronenberg. Right.
David Cronenberg. That is peak Cronenberg. Like body horror is Cronenberg's bread and butter, and The Fly is gross, but it's Jeff Goldblum. Like you're gonna keep watching. Like
Right.
it's so good to watch. Like he sucks you into anything he's in, and that movie is just so good.
Yes, Jeff Goldblum is a great actor who should get a lot more credit for some of the stuff he does. The guy is phenomenal. I've liked Jeff Goldblum since I saw him in the '70s in a movie called Thank God It's Friday.
I
So
seriously thought Jeff
yeah.
Goldblum was going to make a guest appearance on the first episode of Saturday Night Live after the debate, as the fly.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
All right. Hey, if you are joining us, just joining us, we are talking horror movies because it is Halloween. It is also a full moon tonight, a blue moon. And also, don't forget to turn your clocks up ahead because daylight savings time ends. This is Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. We are so lucky to have our special guests in the house. In addition to my co host and brother, Kenny Walker, we also have my nephew, his son, George, as well as the man, the myth. You know him. He is our fact checker and number one pop culture kid, Ed Brown, in the house. Okay. Sorry, just had to do a little ad break.
That
yeah.
was nice. That was really nice. I like the way you did that. I like the way you did that. Next we have Troll 2. I've never seen Troll 1 and I've never seen Troll 2.
Oh, I can't
Yes.
speak on that.
All right. So this is in my top three favorite movies of all time.
Oh,
I put it in here for a reason. It is horrible. It is not a good movie, but it is the worst movie. And it's so bad that there's documentaries about how bad it is. The lead actress, one of the lead actresses in it, went crazy after this movie. They have somebody from a mental institution that they just hired on the spot to do a scene in this movie. The one guy, the dad in the film, is a dentist that just decided to do this movie for some reason. And there is no Troll One. There is no Troll One. This is just Troll Two. It's a horrible movie. It's a cult classic. They play in theaters all over the place. And I think what makes this movie endearing, one is it's very quotable and it's hilarious. Like if you watch it with a group of people, you will have a good time. I promise you. The other thing about it is the director of it is not American, and it's a foreigner trying to understand American culture, and that leads to a lot of weird scenes of like montages of like working out in like the 80s and stuff like, but then like people handing each other like buckets of oranges and you're like, this is probably something in a different culture, but I don't, in the context I don't understand people eating corn in like a sensual way. It's a weird movie,
Oh,
but it is the best movie to watch with a group. I promise you. I've
it
shown it
sounds
to
like you have to be
hundreds of
under the
people.
influence
I
of
kind of want. I kind of want
yeah,
to see
right.
it
pretty
now.
strong.
It No, you just need some beers. You need some beers and friends, and you will have the best time of your life. I promise you.
Oh, coming in the comments, Peter, welcome. Thanks for checking us out on the show. Night of the Living Dead. I did not hear you guys put that. I don't even see that on the list.
Okay, I'm
And
going
that
to
was
speak on this.
one of my first
Night
horror movies.
Night of the Living Dead is spawned generations. It's a classic. George Romero. You have Night of the Living Dead, black and white, a lot of social commentary in that film. In addition to the follow-up, Dawn of the Dead, 1978. You have Day of the Dead, 1985, the remake of Night of the Living Dead in 1990. And, you know, he's had at least four more Dead films after that. And all of them have some type of social commentary involved in them. I highly recommend each and every one of them. Some may not be as good as the others because some were done on a lower budget, but you should be able to appreciate each and every one of them. And Pete, that is an excellent, excellent choice.
Night of the Living Dead. Ed, we got to
Absolutely.
give you props because you have got the background of all backgrounds. I love it with the DVD collection. That is awesome. Props to
It's
Ed
just a
because
small part of
I
it
got
too.
the
So, you
comic. I
know,
got the comic book posters though.
okay,
no, this
But I got
is
comic
this
book
is just a
It's
little
posters.
Ed
bit.
right now.
but you can't compete with that.
No,
He's
you
got
can't.
Star Wars back there. Anyway, but Night of the Living
And
Dead, that was
Halloween. Halloween.
But I got
Yeah,
definitely
comic book
a great
posters.
choice. I think Night
yeah,
of the
that's it.
Living Dead was like the first horror movie I
Nice one,
think I
Peter.
saw,
Nice one.
and it made me so afraid to go by any
Yeah,
um cemeteries
Windows.
for the
Oh,
longest time.
and it has no It was not
I've
copyrighted,
never
so it
seen
has
Night of the
public
Living Dead.
domain. So you could use it for any reason whatsoever you want.
Really? Yeah. So
Yeah,
wait, was Night of the Living Dead the film where
Really?
at the end the black guy's the last one standing, and then the army
and they
comes
get
in and
that's
yeah.
correct.
So
Yeah,
that
Dwayne Jones.
man, that I remember that hits to this day. I don't care who you are. If you watch that film, that ending
He
is
makes it through
so
the night.
powerful,
He makes it through the night, and they say, "Oh, we got another one!" Bang, right through the
and they
window.
shoot him because they think he's a zombie. So the main character
So
makes it
now, is
all
that
the
some
way
kind of
through it.
social commentary as well?
Yeah, to have a black guy
Absolutely,
be the it is one of
absolutely.
the to make it to the end. What?
Because
Well,
according
you
to
know, and that's
Scream and the rules of horror movies, the black guy's going to go first.
if you watch the Romero Dead film series, you will see that most of the films have black leads.
Oh.
Mm,
Check it out. You'll see
yeah,
exactly what I mean. And as far as I'm concerned, Dawn of the Dead 1978, best horror film ever made.
I've never seen it. I will watch it now. Thank you,
Dawn
Ed.
Watch it.
of the
Just
Dead. There you
I will.
check
go.
it out.
I will.
1978, not the 2004 remake, which was excellent, an excellent film,
Hmm.
but just it's not the same.
All right. The next one we have on our list though is The Thing.
Hmm.
Now, are we talking about the original thing, or are we talking
Yeah,
about the
John
remake?
Carpenter. No, not the remake. John Carpenter, The Thing. Yeah, it's one of those movies that people would always be like, oh, you got to watch The Thing. You got to watch The Thing. And finally, when I watched it, I was like, I get it. It's like one of those movies you watch, you hear
Yeah,
about, and then you watch it, and you're like, I
yeah,
get it. It's really, really good. And
yeah,
just the idea of not being able to trust people around you is such a power. It just induces this kind of sense of horror, and I like that a lot.
Well,
yeah.
I
I
think that's
agree with that.
something that. Okay, I'm sorry, Ed. Go ahead.
I agree with that. One thing you got to remember too is that the Thing is actually a remake from The Thing from Another World from back in the 50s,
Right, right.
starring James Arness, just like The Fly was, and so forth and so on. A lot of these films, great films, are still remakes. And we got
Mm,
to give. I'm a big fan of the classics, so you got to. I always got to give props to the originals because I don't think we would be anywhere without them in modern horror.
yeah, that's fair.
Well, I think too with the horror genre, and I know like of late, a lot of it is just the kind of shock and
Yeah,
but
Jump scares and
but yeah, but I
absolutely.
think that along with even good sci-fi, sometimes where they can have the biggest impact is when they make those social commentaries, when they tell us a little
mm,
something about
Yeah.
ourselves and society. So just
yeah.
a little
I
something
wanted
to
to
think
say
about.
I wanted to save that for last. What I think makes a good horror movie, but
Ah,
yeah.
okay. All right. Well, hey, what else? What else we got on this list of ours?
Can I add a series? May I? There
Of
was
course.
a
Oh,
film back in the early 80s called The Evil Dead,
Wait,
starring
wait,
Bruce
no, no, that's
Campbell.
that's last on the that's last on the list. We'll get
Oh,
there.
okay, I'll keep it quiet
oh,
then.
Yeah,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah.
Got to give it love. Got to give that love.
Dude, I
oh,
had
we're all
Evil
caught.
Dead 2. Oh, I had it up
I
there.
haven't
Oh,
seen
That
Army
was
of
the
that.
first thing I
Darkness.
wrote. First thing I wrote.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Good. All right. We're good with that.
Poltergeist is the next one on there. Um, Poltergeist. I mean, it's a good film to me. It's like it's like ET in the sense where it's just like really good cinema. It's got super good imagery, stuff that sticks with you.
Well,
It lasts over time, and even though for me it was not the scariest movie,
Yeah.
it still hits really well. Like
But
it's just a well done.
sometimes,
Yeah.
and again, sometimes it's not always the blood and gore that makes a movie scary, but
No, of
when
course.
it keeps you in that little bit of suspense.
Yeah.
And I think there were scenes, especially in Poltergeist, like when she comes back into the kitchen and the chairs all stacked up, and just those little like jump cuts or the little things that created that suspense. And to me, the heart of any film, whether it's a horror
well, I,
film or a comedy, is the relationships that are built. And you got to care about this family, and that's why you kind of bought into it or was invested in the movie. I think is
well,
because the actors did a good job of
Eddie,
making you care
I
for
want
them.
the old Eddie Murphy joke on this one. I want the old Eddie Murphy joke on this one because how attached could you be? She was 6. You couldn't have been that attached. I just got out the house.
Now, and
She was
I'm going to
stuck in the
mention
TV.
this.
Couldn't do nothing about it. Leave.
I'm going to mention this along with the next movie because you had Poltergeist on the list, but also on the list was
Oh,
The Exorcist, which is a movie I didn't see. Uh, because it was kind of like Carrie. It's like I don't want to see these movies about like demonic possession because if I watch it, then it's going to happen to me. Don't
Yeah,
ask me
yeah.
why, but that's how my young mind used to think.
yeah.
But I know Poltergeist was a movie that, um, in addition to the movie itself, like the actors and the people behind the scenes had all these bad things happen to them. What do
Oh,
you guys?
yeah.
How do you weigh in on the on that whole debate? And I think The Exorcist was another one where they said some tragedies kind of befell the people involved in making that movie. I know Poltergeist. I think just
Apparently,
about.
Linda Blair. Apparently, Linda Blair had to have a lot of counseling after doing that movie.
I
Yeah,
believe that.
but
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
the young
there
girl.
was
Yeah.
sorry, there was like reports of like lighting and fixtures falling on the sets and all like almost killing people, like landing right next to them and kind of scaring away a lot of staff members. A lot of weird stuff they said happened on set. Whether that's true or to add to the legacy of the movie, I don't know. But I will say that movie, that was the one film. There's two things I wasn't allowed to watch as a kid, and it was The Exorcist and X Files
Yeah.
at the time because my mom loved X Files, and I wasn't allowed to watch it. I would just hear the sound, and I'd be like, "All right, that's time." That's yeah. As soon as that started, I was like, "All right, I gotta get out of here." But Exorcist was a movie that my mom said, "No, you can't watch this." So when I finally did watch it, I was blown away at how scary it still is. Like it
Yeah.
is just makeup, and it's terrifying. And yeah, which I don't even know.
Yeah.
This looks like a photoshopped image. I don't even know if this is her. This looks like a mask.
Hey,
She is
another movie
horrifying.
I didn't see on the list that had a whole series of movies, and I didn't see them on the list, but I thought I'd mention it. Um, and I haven't watched it because, again, I'm a baby. Yeah. I have
Jigsaw.
n- I
Oh,
have
Yeah,
no ability to sit through these things. Was Saw,
yeah.
and I know it had a lot of like parts and different, but I from what I'm to understand the original, I have seen bits and pieces of it, and to me it's more of that whole psychological kind of thriller,
Yeah.
uh even with the gore and everything else. So what are your thoughts on Saw?
I thought Saw was a smart horror. I mean, the way they kind of pieced everything together. I think James Wan, was that the guy gentleman that directed it, I think, or
I think
wrote it.
so.
I know
Yeah,
he
the
was
guy did
he was definitely in
Aquaman.
the
Yeah,
film. And I think, as far as smart horror goes, I think, we talked about Scream earlier. I think Scream is smart horror. And I think Saw is as well, because you kind of have to go through all these different puzzles and figure them out in order to survive. And obviously,
mm,
they don't do it. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a movie until the very end, where you kind of like get the twist ending. And it's just great
You're
stuff. I
good.
mean, I don't want to
Yeah,
talk too much about it because I don't want to
yeah.
spoil it.
But okay, but Saw again, psychological horror,
Yeah,
um James Wan who directed The Conjuring
that's
as
it.
well as
Yep,
Aquaman, which I was so
Aquaman. Huh?
surprised. Yeah.
You
Aquaman
also
and
talked about.
Furious 7, which I actually have
yeah.
on my Fire Stick a channel that shows like nothing but Fast and Furious movies,
Love it.
and I'm trying to figure out which one to come in on because again, in order to earn my pop culture card, I got to sit through a
Yeah.
Fast and Furious. So
Me
that's
too.
on
Oh
my
my God,
bucket list.
they're incredible. I love them all because
Scott,
they just
Scott,
actually just real quick. Fast and the Furious reminds me a lot of Saw in the sense that they jumped the shark fast and early. Like they both those franchises just jumped the
Oh,
shark. Like they start off with these like cool premises where for Fast it's like what about street racing? Pretty soon they're jumping out of airplanes with cars and jumping through skyscrapers. It just you had to suspend your disbelief. Saw, I think, is has a great concept. It started out really good, and then they got bogged down in like the plot of the whole story to where like even people that love the franchise get in arguments over what actually is going on. We're like, no, that was actually that guy that did this thing, that did this thing, and
Right.
it's like you get bogged down. And I'm like, dude, let's just watch some people get out of traps. I don't need all this like
Yeah.
complicated backstory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Right.
one of the websites that I love is IMDb, Internet Movie Database. And if you follow them on Twitter,
Mm.
they recently asked people what their favorite surprise ending was. And I know it's a movie we haven't mentioned here. It's not really horror film in the traditional horror, but the movie I put in was The Others. And I didn't know what your
The
Mm.
thoughts
others.
on
Yeah.
that as a horror movie or for and again for surprise endings. I think the other surprise ending they had was The Sixth Sense. So, and again,
Right.
I know they're not your
Mm.
traditional heavy duty horror films, but
Yeah, but
again, as far
thriller
as
spooky.
suspense,
Yeah.
I know when I saw The Sixth Sense, I no one told me the end, but there had been so much talk about it, and you got to wait for this twist. You got to wait for this surprise twist. I happened to be in South Jersey when I saw it, and I think I was in the movie theater in Echelon, if I'm not mistaken, before it all changed and got all the shops at Voorhees. And you have to say it like that, the shops at Voorhees.
Right.
Um, but I was in the theater. I'm pretty sure that's where I was. I might have been somewhere else, but in any case, there was a storm and the power went out. So towards the end of the movie, the whole screen went black. And we're all sitting there, and I'm thinking, wait, is that the twist? It just turned out that it just so happened at like a crucial point in the movie towards the end, we lost power and had to wait a while before we got power again to actually see
Yeah.
the movie and get the real plot twist. But there you go. All right. What do we have next on the list? Maybe I can tell you what's next on the list.
And
This movie is called Heredity.
Hereditary.
oh,
Hereditary. Okay.
So
Hereditary.
I put this on the list because it is the scariest horror film I've watched in recent years. It's very well done, and the director builds. It's really well done, and it starts off with it's just it's creepy from start to finish. I can't give away anything about it, but I will say that this was the first movie last year. So every October, I watch a horror movie every single night for October, and Hereditary was what we started off with because I heard it was really scary and really good. And I was like, all right, we'll just start with this, see how good it is. And I couldn't sleep for like a week. It was like it messed me
Wow.
up.
Speaking of
Wow.
Sixth
It
Sense, Tony Collette is in this movie.
Tony Collette is always good. Like she's always
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And this film, she really brings it. And by the time the I will say the only spoiler I kind of give away is that like supernatural stuff begins to happen at the end of the film, but they build to it, and it's this slow family drama build to like where are we gonna get to until and it's like hard as you're going through it, your gut is wrenching, but it's not like jump scares, right? You're just kind of like, oh god, this is really bad, and then when stuff pops off, it pops off, and the end of the movie is it just gets really intense the last like 30 minutes and I thought it was fantastic like yeah
Wow. Got to get that one on the list. That looks like it's
yeah
good.
very scary though so
I
be
love
aware
Tony Collette. So,
yeah
yeah. All right. We
Yeah,
are
I love Tony Collette.
now
She's
to the
great.
end
Have
of
you
the
ever
list.
seen
We're
In
a
Her
little
Shoes?
over our regular time. So,
yeah
again, thank you guys for joining us and staying with us. I know we are a little over, but again, we thank you for staying with us. We appreciate you. We got a few more things on our list, so hang out. If you're watching us on Facebook, please consider hitting the like button. If you're checking us out on YouTube, consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. We do Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture every Saturday night. I'm Kathy. There's my brother Kenny. This Saturday night, we have some special guests. We are so excited to have my nephew, Kenny's son George, as well as Ed Brown, our chief pop culture kid and fact checker, who obviously from the background. I mean, he wins background for tonight. I'm sorry, Kenny. Your posters are lovely, and I like your little superheroes wearing the mask,
I, I
but
got color.
but Ed Brown wins. We are rounding down towards the end of the
Show
list,
off.
and yeah,
It doesn't really show off.
woo,
I
Oh
we
my
got
goodness.
Had to
Alien.
put it on there. Had to put it on there.
Alien.
Yes.
the
Alien
original.
is the
Although,
movie. Alien.
I can
although the
argue though
sequel
that the
did not
sequel was
disappoint.
better.
Yeah,
Aliens is great, but to me that feels more like an action than a
Yeah,
horror.
that's
And
true.
the first one I consider a complete horror. And I loved the whole
Yeah.
I love Alien, but I
'Cause
think the second one I agree is better, but the first one I would say
the
is
second,
yeah.
James Cameron.
I can still we can say that because the first one they didn't know what was going on. They had no idea, and this
Right.
thing starts
Mm.
coming up for the first time. Out this guy stuck like ah, and then now each other and they have to So it's yeah, it's a whole
I
thing.
think I
So
what
think
I
with the
can see
Ridley
cast
that.
that they
Scott
had,
is working at.
it's a Gordy Weaver,
Oh yeah,
Tom Skerritt.
they did have a
They
great
had
cast.
a monster cast on that. I mean, it was just
So good.
Yaphet Kotto, I think, a lot of well-known
Yeah,
actors.
Yaphet. I love Yaphet Kotto. I
Me
love
too.
Kotto. Um, he's a
The
great guy.
monster
Yeah.
design is really good.
And the last movie.
Wait, hold on, real quick. I just to tie into the next movie. I'll start so what I'm saying is like what makes a good horror movie to me a lot of the times, not every horror movie, every genre, and even in horror there's multiple genres. I think for Alien, one of the things that had going for it was that the monster, the alien, was hidden for most of the movie. That was a big problem for the studios because they spent so much money making that costume, and the director and stuff had to justify why they made this expensive costume, and then weren't going to show it in the movie. And the director promised them the less we show of this monster, the scarier it'll be. And he was right. It turned out to be terrifying to not see this alien in the ship the whole time. And that ties into the next franchise we'll talk about, which is Evil Dead, where you definitely see the monster here, but the monster to me is an entity in the Evil Dead that is never quite seen, which is shown by the camera. And Sam Raimi, director of classics like Spider-Man, from the jump of the movie, uses the camera from a point of view perspective going through the woods as you follow it, and you
Yeah.
never know what this thing is. And this thing is just evil. It's just evil. And you never there's not a face to evil, it just is evil, and it possesses anything and anyone
Yeah.
around it. And
Yeah.
to me it's like horror. That's horror. Things that are unknown are terrifying.
The Evil Dead is like
Right.
the act is like Die Hard is to action is what the Evil Dead is to horror. It's so fast and
Yes.
furious.
Yes.
It's nonstop. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bruce Campbell kills it.
Absolutely.
that reminds me of that Denzel Washington movie where I guess whatever this presence is kind of jumps from
Oh,
body to body.
yeah. Is
Mm.
that
That's going to
correct?
kill me. I'll think of the name of it,
Yeah.
but
It's
Oh,
that
what's
general
that?
idea of it. And I think for Evil Dead, so there's Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. Evil Dead 1 is very like almost art school student budget
Yep.
film. Very like Clerks, Kevin Smith, like low budget. They're
mm,
doing the best
Yeah.
they can, and they're doing an amazing job. It's still creepy. And they're going, certainly in the first one, they're going straight for horror. By the
Yeah.
second one, they get more money because of the first one. So Sam Raimi basically said, let's just remake the movie again and call it Evil Dead 2. So they just remade the same
It's true.
plot. They go back to the cabin. Bruce Campbell, he just goes back to the cabin as if it didn't already happen.
Yeah.
And when they get there, he leans more into comedy in Evil Dead 2, where there is the horror, but there's also some silliness and zaniness going on that
Yep.
is just endearing. So Evil Dead 2 is my personal favorite. And then when you get into Army of Darkness, they intentionally jump the shark and they time travel to the medieval times. And it's Bruce Campbell in medieval times with the "This is my boomstick," and like he's got a shotgun, and everyone's like,
Yes.
"Oh, magic!" And he has one-liners. "Give me sugar, baby."
I
Like
will
it's
say,
incredible.
Groovy.
Groovy. Groovy.
I will say I've always thought that Bruce Campbell should be more of an A-lister number one guy.
Yeah.
I've
He's
always
got the
thought Bruce
chin for
Campbell should be
Batman. He's
more of an
got the chin for
A-lister.
Batman for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't put him as Batman. Let's not make Batman a clown.
Yeah. Oh.
He probably could do
But
maybe not now,
he
but
could be
back in
so
the
Not
many
now.
different
Young
things.
Bruce
But
Campbell
I
could
think
have been Batman.
Yeah, for sure. Or
young
a
Bruce
villain.
Campbell, you think?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Evil
for sure.
Dead, which also transitioned into a Ash versus the Evil Dead,
Yep.
I think Showtime series for a while out
Mhm.
there that I believe you can catch on Netflix for those of
Yeah.
you hunkered down
Yeah.
and quarantined
It's a lot of
and
fun.
Yeah,
I think I first got introduced to Bruce Campbell. I think I first got introduced to Bruce Campbell when he was Hercules and Xena on TV because he played a part in those.
Ah,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
all
Yeah,
right.
Bruce Campbell was on Hercules and Xena.
Well, we wrapped up with
Was he?
all our movies, talking horror, and we had some TV shows that we didn't get to, and
oh,
I
yeah.
just
Yeah.
I just got to do two honorable mentions because when you talk
Well,
about Halloween and horror for TV shows, if you are of a certain age, you did not come of age without checking out these two particular shows. So I do want to give a shout out to hold on, let me get my graphics going, and my graphics aren't working for me right now. I'll get them in a minute. Here we go.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Ah,
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na,
da 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 da
da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. All
da
right,
da da
the
da da
Adams
da.
Family, and again,
for sure.
The
there's two
creepy
type
and
of
the
people. There's
spooky.
either Adams Family people, and if you're not Adams Family people, you are
The
monsters
monster
people.
people.
Yeah.
Monsters.
Monsters, the Kmart of
I don't know. I was
Adam's
kind of.
Family.
I don't know. I kind of like the
Wait a
monsters
minute,
a little
this
better.
is the fun
I
thing
know it's
about doing a
controversial.
live stream. All the true facts come out. So here we're learning a little bit about Ed. So
You know what?
evidently
I'm
he
not
might.
sure what Pete's talking about. I've never had a drink in my life.
He's like, I don't even know anybody named Pete Johnson.
Me neither,
Denied,
dude.
denied,
Ah,
denied.
And
Denied,
shout
ah,
out
denied,
to
denied.
Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone has kept many a folk up at night.
Yes.
Some of those episodes,
Love
Yeah.
Twilight Zone.
truly creepy, truly scary, and again, not necessarily
Rod
gory.
Serling. Rod Serling was a genius, though, and social commentary
yeah,
out the
yeah,
wazoo,
Yes.
yeah.
mixed
Oh,
in with the
definitely.
horror and sci-fi. It's incredible.
Oh, and I loved your picture of Rod on your website too. That was pretty cool.
Oh,
And
thanks.
again, as I'm talking websites and talking plugs, just give a shout out and a plug to check out. I thought I had the link up here, and evidently I don't, but I'm sorry. Um, for O'Connell, GeorgeO'Connell.com, illustrations.com, and that link is in the description. So check that out below because he does have an awesome, it looks like a sketch. Is that charcoal or pencil or what is
Oh,
that?
of Rod Serling. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a. Yeah, I did like a watercolor painting of Rod Serling. I
Oh, watercolor.
got some
Okay.
stuff.
Wow,
Big
Awesome.
Twilight Zone fan.
that's awesome.
Awesome.
What,
Yeah.
what's that? You got?
I can't hear
I
you,
wanted to,
Kenny.
Kenny.
No, no. I was asking Ed what he had there. What's that movie?
I just wanted to give a shout out to an old television show back in the early 1970s. It was called Kolchak the Night Stalker. It starred Davern McGavin as Kolchak. He was a reporter for the Chicago Sun-Times, and he would basically go out and investigate all these different horror, all these monsters that would show up, vampires, werewolves. Wherever Kolchak would wind up, there would be a monster. I mean, it was fantastic. It was
It's
funny,
fun.
edgy, and a little scary at times. So if you ever have a chance to check out a great television show, I highly recommend Kolchak the Night Stalker. Darren
Kolchak the
McGavin,
Night Stalker. I
awesome.
remember that one, Ed. Oh my God. Kudos to you. You brought the papers. Look at you. You
And you know what, guys? I have to apologize.
And
I
like,
found out about an hour before that I was coming on the show, so I didn't have much time to prepare. So you please excuse everything, and
No, it's good.
No,
No,
no.
no.
Oh,
You did fine. You did
actually, the
great. You
makers
did
of
great.
X Files, Chris Carter, the guy who did X Files, actually, that was one of his influences
Oh,
for coming
really?
up with that show. Was that Gavin? I'm sorry, what's his name again?
Darren McGavin.
Darren
Darren
McGavin,
McGavin.
because he actually did an
The
episode of
father, the
X
father
Files.
from
But yeah, I remember that show. That show was awesome, awesome. So we
and he
are
was a
we are
father from A Christmas Story.
okay. Oh
Oh,
yes,
yes,
he
he
was the
was.
father in the
Yes,
Christmas
he
Story.
was.
Another classic, and we are bringing this classic episode of Kathy and Kenny to an end. We want to thank our guests, Ed Brown, Ed the Man Brown. We want to thank him for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, wrong sound effect. I gotta Also, my nephew, Kenny's son George, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. And again, for our friends out there, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, just send us a message. Let us know. We'll be happy to have you on here as we talk pop culture. We are going to wind it down right now. Next week, we do all bad breakups. Because what Tuesday we got an election, so we're going to be breaking up with somebody. Not everybody can win, but
You gotta bring up
even
somebody. Somebody gotta
if
go.
you haven't voted, make
Sorry,
sure
baby.
you have a plan to vote. It's too late to mail your vote, so you need to drop it off or plan to be in line on Tuesday because most places early voting has stopped. So make sure you have a plan, make a plan, and do that thing. Make sure you
Please vote.
vote next
Please vote.
week. We will be
Make sure you
here
vote. Make sure
Saturday
you vote.
night, 8:30. Kathy and Kenny explain pop culture.
You know,
I'm Kathy. Mhm. Go ahead.
and I'm Kenny.
Okay.
We'll do the bad breakups. Maybe I should get a couple of ex-girlfriends on.
Oh, that's just a show nobody wants to see. I'm just telling you. Uh, make sure you check out the links in the description if you want to get your Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture mug, as well as Pop Culture Kid T-shirt. If you know pop culture, if you know these things, by all means, you need your Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture
Oh,
swag.
my pop culture T-shirt came in. I meant to wear it tonight, and I forgot to wear my pop culture T-shirt.
Oh, you got your Pop Culture T-shirt? You didn't wear it? Shame
Yes,
on you.
I didn't wear it.
Shame.
Next week, I'll wear it next week. I'll wear it next
Okay.
week.
He'll wear it next week. We will see you guys next week. Peace.
God bless your soul and keep living. Peace.
Thank you for geeking out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture.